Hey everyone, it's Augie Anderson, your Brevard, Florida realtor, with Beth Dotson, the CEO founder of HomeZada. She's going to give a little snippet of what that is in case you're tuning in for the first time. But this week, we're going to be talking about why branding to your customers is a good thing during the homeowner's life cycle, right?
Yes,
That's what we're talking about today. And the solutions that will brand you throughout that whole time utilizing the HomeZada system. That's what's so cool. So, Beth, if for those that are tuning in the first time, I think you should explain in your little capsulized version of HomeZada what it is, but also then in conjunction with that, the the recap of like the pro part as well. Can you do that for us?
I can. So just for everyone out there, HomeZada is what we refer to as a digital home management platform. It allows you to track a home inventory for those insurance claims or purposes, or just knowing what you own. Two, it allows you to track a maintenance plan and set of tasks so that in Augie speak, you can preserve your property value. And then it allows you to track projects. So we have templates to help you track all the items you need to choose and all the costs associated with your projects so that you can stay in budget when you are going through projects. And then also all the finances of the home so that you as a homeowner get the total cost of homeownership with all the expenses, the equity in your home, the value of your home, everything all in one, almost like a balance sheet for your home. Now, and by the way, for those people out there who have multiple homes, maybe they have one in Florida and one somewhere else, they can manage them all in one instance of HomeZada, which makes it really easy for them to track all these different areas in one centralized location. The other thing that we offer is HomeZada Professional. HomeZada Professional is for those industries that service the homeowner that want to stay connected to their homeowners throughout their entire life cycle. They can buy the gift of HomeZada with their branding inside HomeZada so that their customers are given not only a really valuable gift to help them better manage their homes, but also they are staying branded with their homeowner throughout the entire homeowner life cycle. So when that initial transaction is done, the homeowner will always see them and either make referrals to other clients that could use your services as a professional, or they will come back to you later at a later date and use services again.
I think it's brilliant. As you know, I'm like a big HomeZada fan. For those of you, I do have HomeZada. I have it on my personal residence, and we have it on our investment property. I just got my overview of tasks actually today.
The beginning of the month.
So I really think it's I'm a big fan and an advocate, and I see a lot more stuff. When I say stuff, information coming about, I feel like this really does almost fall into the smart home category because you're being smart about managing your home. Like I know, like we have a thermostat that we can monitor or change through our phones. Very easy to do. And you have more stuff like that. But this to me falls in line with that whole smart home mentality because this is smart digital home management. Would you agree with that?
I absolutely do agree. And then hopefully our goal in the future will be to bring all those smart home devices inside HomeZada as well. So it even makes it even easier home management because we want to make sure that people are not getting complicated and challenged and confused by all the different parts and pieces of managing a home. Let's face it, you and I talk about this, Augie. Homes are a lot of tiny parts and pieces that come together to make up this structure. And then we choose to add more parts and pieces like furniture and appliances and equipment and everything else into the home to further manage it. And it's just a lot of stuff.
It is a lot of stuff, which brings me to, I'm going to go from a perspective of a real estate broker when I'm conveying this is, I think it's really important to make that, excuse me, buyer aware of digital home management before you actually gift it to them. So
Yes.
they know that it's coming
Mhm.
and really be able to talk it like this is going to provide value. I do it about, and then me personally, I realize it's better to do this about 30 days after they've moved in because they're up to their eyeballs with stuff to do.
Move.
And so that brings me to the life cycle.
Mhm.
Now, the life cycle really begins before it closes.
Yes.
And then,
If I share that screen?
I think you need, share your screen because I think you go deeper with this with the
Yes.
whole life cycle thing. But I want to be with them during their entire life cycle of their home, helping them be preserving. I've realized not just preserving, but making it easier.
Yes.
Like, managing a home is like a part-time job.
Yes. And then wait, don't you have two?
Yeah. So we have a full-time job. All right. This looks good. Tell me about this.
Yeah. So we talked about the homeowner life cycle in a previous episode, but we wanted to bring it back again before we close out all these episodes. And part of it is we wanted to help people understand specifically pros, because consumers know that they are different when it comes to managing their homes, but sometimes pros really struggle. My customers are so different. How do I find the best solution for them or the best gift for them? Or how do I stay in touch with them in the most valuable way? Well, when it comes to HomeZada, we actually took into consideration the homeownership life cycle, and we define that in 3 different items, or we refer to it 3 different legs to the same stool. And if one thing is kind of off, then it's kind of chaotic. So we've got the consumer traits. There are different types of homeowners, meaning generations, and now we can start adding Z's in there because Generation Z is now starting to buy homes. We've got the type of homeowner they are. Are they a first-time homeowner? Are they a growing family, etc.? Then we've got how comfortable are they with tech? That's really important. We do have a lot of users on the HomeZada side that actually don't like tech, but they love the fact that HomeZada is really easy to use and it makes managing their homes so much easier. So they're willing to use tech because they realize just home management is so complicated.
Can I add a little something in there when you're, especially feel like my fellow senior people, just give me a little snippet of what AARP said about all that.
Oh, absolutely.
Them embracing. I think this is a great segment for this.
Yeah, absolutely. So we did talk about that as well in a previous episode, but AARP customers looked at HomeZada in a couple of different ways. First of all, they love the fact enormously that it was all-in-one solution. 2, they love the fact that it really kept them organized about their home. I mean, loved it. Those are the 2 key phrases that were the most important to them. And then the other thing that happened was they all found value in all the different areas of HomeZada, some more than others, but the numbers were so staggering, upwards of 70, 80, 90%. That's how much they valued the functionality that HomeZada offered, that it was really important. They realized that 1, I need to manage my home. 2, if I want to consider buying a second home, I really need the best tools to help me do that. And then 3, how do I understand how to keep all this information centralized so that when the time does come and I do pass, my children or my heirs also get this information in a concise, consistent, simple way when I pass on.
And if I may add, and they weren't threatened by the technology.
No.
They weren't intimidated by the technology because it is easy breezy to use. And that's why I wanted you to share that. So go ahead, and I'm sorry to interrupt, but I thought that was a good little
That's fantastic.
Point about that.
Yeah, usability is really important to us, and we constantly want to make sure we're improving that. So the second leg to that stool is the house traits. We all know that there are different ages of houses. We know that people live in houses that are 30 years old. We know that people live in houses that are brand new and everything in between. I don't think people realize that the majority of houses in this country, I think like 65%, were built before 1970. It's a lot of homes. So it's like, it
It
just keeps
is.
people understanding that many of those homes may need some work to do as well. So we also take a look at the house condition, and you and I have talked extensively on the consumer episodes, how the house condition and the inspection reports and other things are very critical to preserving the property value of your home. And then we look at where the home is located. Condos are different than homes with yards. They have different requirements. Large properties with farms on them or what have you are slightly different than traditional suburban homes. And then everyone who lives in them. And then the third leg to the stool is these, what we refer to as these event triggers. People buy a home, they move into the home, they have seasonal tasks they have to do. Maybe they have seasonal projects they want to do. They want to understand the equity value. They want to understand how to prep it for sale. So it may involve whether it's remodeling or seasonal tasks. And then eventually they want to market it with their real estate agent and sell the home. But if you take this model, we actually kind of shared how HomeZada can work as an example. Now, HomeZada touches all of these areas listed on this sheet. But for instance, if you're getting a Gen X who has a growing family with moderate usage of tech, who lives in a house that's between 21 and 30 years old, they're looking to do major renovations, and it's in a suburban area. So one of the big things that they're looking to do is I want to remodel my home. But I also want to understand how much equity in my home I have, because I may need to get a home equity loan to actually perform this remodel, because I may not have enough cash and savings. Or if I do have cash and savings, maybe I want to get the home equity loan now, just in case the project goes over and then I have to use a portion of my savings for the overages, but I can eventually use my savings to pay off the equity loan. So a lot of people are just managing different things and different aspects depending on how they live in their home. And these circles can change all over the place on this board. Think of it almost like a tic-tac-toe type of board. It can change everywhere, but HomeZada can meet all of the needs of all of these different types of users.
Which is really amazing. So this life cycle, if you could now, for our pros, tie this into why does this matter? Why does this matter? And how is that pro going to benefit for connecting into that life cycle, staying in that life cycle? How do they do that? What are you doing to make that happen?
Yeah, so there's a couple things that are happening. So if you don't mind, I'm going to skip this slide. I'm actually going to stay on the slide for 1 minute, and then I'm going to skip to another one. But one of the things that we're also seeing, and timing is also relevant right now, mortgage rates are looking to go up. We do have fewer homes to sell because we just have a lower inventory of homes. So one of the things is, if a professional, for instance, in mortgage or in real estate, work with a client or even work with previous clients, they can introduce them to HomeZada, buy the gift for them, and get their branding inside the system so they stay present, which I'm going to get to in 1 second. And then they will touch the homeowner in a variety of locations because they're staying present as the homeowner continues to engage in HomeZada. So that's why it's really valuable, because having traditional calls coming in is going to be fewer because interest rates are going up. We all know that when interest rates go up, people do less refinances, they do less buying of homes, they're just more careful. And this is a great way to stay in touch. And the way in which we do that, is through branding, as we discussed. And we share this a lot. And I always like to share this because you can see here, we can put your company name, if you want to use your photo, social media icons, web links, an email or a phone number, and or to help guide people and get in touch with you or share your information to their network so that you get more referrals. And you talked about, Augie, the email you just got. So we have those monthly emails that we give, and we also include that branding on these monthly emails. And on the right-hand side of this, you will see this is An example of monthly email, pardon the cut and paste. It is a long email, so we had to cut it so people can understand. But we include the basically the partner that actually bought the gift for their clients with all this great data to help the client stay engaged with HomeZada, and our clients are highly engaged. And then we also offer out emails periodically on upcoming tasks for maintenance because those are time sensitive. So for instance, I just received on January, I think 29th, a list of tasks that I wanted to do for my house. And I was trying to schedule them for the weekend. And I did that about a month ago, making sure I was getting all organized. And I said, you know what? I didn't get to some of these tasks, so I've got to reschedule them for the following weekend, which is okay. So I'm going to do that. But then on February 1st, I received my email of what's going on in my house in a consolidated fashion. And that's like, okay, now I can get back into my HomeZada and really see what's actually going on. And I can make the best decisions for me, both with cash flow, both with time, and then also where do I want to manage my house and what do I want to focus on?
That's a really good thing, and on mine, you can use a logo, but on mine, I do have my photo. I want top of mind awareness. I could use the Space Coast logo, but I choose mine because when they see it, they see me. They see me and they remember I gave it to them. So you could do it either way. Some people don't like their picture. That's fine. If you want to have your logo, no problem. I'm just saying that's how I do it. And, I just think this is a more subtle way, which we've said this before, to stay connected with your past client. I think it's a great conversation starter, and ongoing conversation. Are you doing any projects with your house?
And we talked about that.
Are you finding the maintenance tasks and so I just think it is another nice way to keep conversation going because how many times can you ask them and they're living there, do you want a CMA of your house? Like that to me, I don't do that anyway, but I love this because it's a door opener, conversation starter, and you get to kind of stay in the loop if you do it right with what that client is doing with their home. Because if they go to sell that house again, I do want them to think of me. I know there's many times that a realtor sells a house, does business, and then the next time they don't use the same realtor because you know what? You didn't. And it's happened to me. It's happened to me. I'm not saying it hasn't. I'm looking at better ways for that not to occur that have more top of mind awareness. And I feel like that's why it's a great to give it as a gift.
Yeah.
And then you're giving it as a gift. Now because you gave it as a gift, you are in that top of mind awareness scenario.
Yeah. And one of the things you bring up, which I think is extremely valuable, is when it comes to having conversations, one of the things that we do at HomeZada, and I think some agents also do, is they can have their own, almost like an editorial calendar. In January, I'm going to talk about getting organized because people are setting New Year's resolutions. What things relate to HomeZada that get organized? And I'm going to reach out to my customers. Have they actually documented their collectibles? Because everyone collects something, right? I mean, you can even have a fun contest on that. And then maybe in February, they are prepping for maintenance tasks for spring maintenance. And then in March, they're doing spring maintenance. And then maybe they're also prepping for remodels in the coming year. Maybe in the summer, they're just enjoying themselves. But where you are, maybe that's when people are hunkered down inside and they're doing more tasks. And then let's face it, in the summer and in the fall, it's hurricane season. So helping people stay connected, those conversations come naturally when you are giving the gift of HomeZada and also talking about different subjects about what's going on with the homeowner. And you're right, not just sending them, oh, I just sold this house. I just sold this house. Are you ready to sell a house? Are you ready to sell a house? Because let's face it, the average person stays in a home, I think on average 7 years. It's a
Yeah.
long time.
Yeah. So how has this branding been valued to partners that they're gifting this program to their clients?
Yeah, so that's a great question. And I want to give some real examples. So I can't tell you some of the names of these companies because I'm under non-disclosures, but we have companies who are gifting HomeZada because they want to stay present. And one of those companies, they're actually looking to gift HomeZada as a mortgage company to their customers to remind them who they are. We have some mortgage companies who are giving the gift on behalf of their real estate network and putting their real estate network contacts inside the app as the branding to build that partnership, that dual partnership, both with the real estate agent, but also with the customer. We've also got real estate agents who recognize that they want to give these gifts because they're looking at HomeZada and they're looking at all the other tasks that or the kits, the tools in the toolbox of what they've given, and they don't go over well. And a good example is I had a couple real estate agents say, I don't give wine anymore. And I go, do you mind me asking why? And they're like, well, I gave one bottle of wine to a pregnant woman. And that means I just didn't even pay attention that she was a pregnant woman, which is shame on me. And she's like, great, lovely. And then I gave another bottle of wine. He couldn't accept it to a customer. He couldn't accept it because he had been a previous alcoholic. So she said, I'm done with that. Furthermore, she said, this particular real estate agent, she said, what I love about HomeZada is you truly have my branding in there. And if I ever decide to move to a different broker, I can go change it and my customers will see that. So it's part of like announcing that I've moved to a different place.
Yeah.
But the other reason is when I did give the wine or I gave a gift card or I gave something else, it was branded everyone else but me. And she's like, that didn't make any sense to me. I'm giving them this and I really wanted to do this. A lot of our other customers on the insurance side, we have some partners on the insurance side. They are looking at HomeZada and giving HomeZada as a gift to their customers because they want to actually remind them that, listen, I want you to come talk to me about all your insurance needs because maybe you only talk to me about one aspect of your insurance needs. I do want you, when you finished your inventory, to let me know what you've done. And that way, I can actually help you get the proper coverage you need. One of the things that I saw in my recent homeowners policy was they finally recognized that a lot of people are doing home remodels. Yet when you do a home remodel, if you haven't told your insurance company, and God forbid something happens to your home, they're going to have the old data points and you're not going to get paid for this new remodel. Now within HomeZada, when you're finished a home remodel, we actually give you a task or an alert that says, did you call your insurance company and validate that you actually are properly covered? You may be, but you may not be. So especially with your clients living in hurricane area,
yeah,
it's important to be correct and up to date on your insurance. And so the insurance companies, this is a service for them and a value add because they get their branding in the system. Now, if you noticed, not everybody can get their branding in the system. It's very important. It's only one brand because we don't want to overload the customers. We want them to be able to use the system. So that's really important to understand.
So this other question is, why did HomeZada build this co-branding model versus a white label model? I'm interested to know that.
That is a great question because I get that question asked all the time.
I'm dying to know.
And let me just share this one more time so people can understand what we mean by co-branding. So co-branding is, you can see here that HomeZada is at the very top. And our color palette is still kind of HomeZada-ish. And then the company is below HomeZada. It's in the primary position.
Yes, good real estate.
Yeah, it's good real estate. But one of the things that we did through our investigation with our customer end user customers is they started questioning, if you make this a white label and I'm putting in my home inventory, all the contents of my home, I'm doing all these types of activities, why do certain professionals actually need this? And that's what they thought. They thought that I don't own my data. My partner that gave me this owns the data, which is not true. The customer owns the data. And how do I actually manage that? But we all know perception is actually 9/10 of the law.
Yeah.
Whether we like it or not, actual is not always the case. So we needed to make sure that our customers understood that they keep their data, they own it, it's their private data until they choose to share it with somebody. And in fact, we just had an email series with one of our insurance customers, and some of the customers emailed us before they signed up and said, does this company get my data? I don't want this company to have my data until I choose to give it to them. And they're saying, and we made it very clear, you're not getting the data. They're not getting the data until you give it to them. You get to choose that. So we also heard from customers that, why does a real estate agent and a mortgage company need to know what's inside my house? They need to know about my equipment. They need to know about my roof. They don't need to know about the contents of my house. And I always ask the question of every one of my partners when they think they need this data. And being the woman that I am, I like jewelry. And so I always ask, why do you need to know where my jewelry is in my house? And people get dumbfounded. Insurance companies need to know because you need to make sure you're covered. But a real estate agent does not need to know. A mortgage company does not need to know. A financial planner does not need to know. A maintenance contractor and a remodeling contractor, they do not need to know. So it was very important that we created this co-branded model by giving our partners the primary branding, but also making our end user customers comfortable that they choose to share the information with whomever they can, but we're not going to do that for them.
So let me add this to that,
Mhm.
if I may.
Yes.
Just because I gave this to you
Mhm.
and gifted it to you, and my brand is on there, I have no way to access any of your data. It
Yep.
is not privy to me at all or any other professional. Just because the brand is simply a reminder that we're connected.
That's correct.
That's it. I want the pros to really, really understand in explaining to their
Huge value.
client
Mhm.
that, it's just there as a reminder of our relationship, which oh my God, that's that like buzzword of these times. It's build relationships.
Yes.
All right. And so that's what we're doing.
Mhm.
We're wanting to stay connected with them, and that branding provides a connection to keep a relationship. Has nothing to do with sharing data or having access to their file.
Yes.
We have no way to do that.
No
There's
access.
no way, shape, or form. Once we gift it to them, it's theirs, solely theirs, and then it's up to them who they want to share it with. Even family
Right.
members, nobody can access
Absolutely.
it unless that owner provides a way for them.
That's correct.
I think that's super important.
Very important. And we take security very seriously. And that's part of the reason for that. And we want to respect the guidelines of the end user. And think about homeowners. They use their home management systems for all different kinds of things. I mean, for me
Right.
personally, I have an online safety deposit box inside my HomeZada account, and I put in all my documents, from my car titles to my driver's license to my wills and trusts and everything else, because my trustees are on the East Coast. And if God forbid something should happen to me, I don't think that they should have to fly to the West Coast. They can just get access to HomeZada and they can take
Right.
care of everything remotely.
Yeah, that is a really, really great point. So I think that professionals really can benefit from this collaboration with HomeZada, because you're collaborating with HomeZada with your professional membership or subscription, I should say. You have a subscription. You're now able to gift this to every client and they don't have to just be a buyer. I've given them to my past clients.
Yes.
Good friends, and say, I'm giving this to you. You have all this art in your house. I want you to utilize this because I think it's really important. And I just think it's, to me, I know I said this, it's a no-brainer. It's just a no-brainer. It's very, very, so
I say.
I want you to know the way you can access this to get your version of HomeZada. I will have that information in the description for you. And I'll also have the consumer version just in case somebody's watching it with you or they want because they're different versions. There's a consumer side and there is the professional side. So I think you really should investigate this if you're a professional to make this a part of your marketing plan. This is in part of your marketing budget, because I think it's very affordable. You'll see what that is. Prices change, so we don't really mention that online, but it is very affordable. I promise you. Take a look, because it could be, it's actually less than a bottle of some of the wines that are out there.
Exactly. And if people by any chance have questions, remember they can contact us. We have live chat.
Yes,
we have email chat.
They're very good customer service. So now I want to know, what are we in store for next week?
So I'm super excited. So for next week, we're going to talk beyond branding, and we're going to talk about what else can you do to make HomeZada even more valuable to your customers. And that is around data.
Ooh,
I'm gonna leave it at that. Data.
Uh-oh. I'm tuning in. Oh yeah, I'll be there. I forgot. Well, listen, Beth, as always, it's a pleasure doing this with you. I get informed and enlightened. I feel like it's been a privilege to do this series, as well as we have a consumer series too, folks, if you want to pass it on. So thank you so much. Can you believe we only have 2 episodes left?
I know. Again, I have so much fun doing this.
Time really flies. But I will see you next Tuesday, same time, same place.
Perfect.